What's up? What's up? What's up, world? Welcome again to the Blake Check. I am your host, King Blake, and as I said, this is the Blake Check. Man, it's gonna be a tough one, man. It's gonna be a tough one. I'm gonna try to maintain my energy on this video. I normally come to y'all enthusiastic, with a lot of energy, with a lot of pizzazz to talk about whatever the topic is of the moment. But today has been a little bit more difficult to do uh, because yesterday we learned of the passing away of Kevin Samuels. Um, Kevin Samuels, very popular YouTube personality, and I decided that I wanted to do a tribute for him. You know, and just going through the internet and collecting a few clips to reverence as I discuss this. It was tough, man, because you nothing on the internet shocks me anymore, but this still was tough to just see how many people were celebrating his death, how many people found joy, how many people found excitement. It was kind of sickening, honestly, to see that. So it's been a little troubling on my spirit and my energy, but nonetheless, it's not about me. This is about Kevin Samuels, and the more that I went through it, the more that I felt compelled to have to give a respectful tribute to Mr. Samuels, and having understanding of a lot of the things that he was doing and laying down. I just wanted to frame it in a different perspective, one that's a bit more positive, right? So let's start it out with Kevin Rashawn Samuels. He was born March 13th, 1965, and he uh, had a cardiac arrest, I believe, is the early reports, and he left this earth May 5th. He was a known YouTube personality, image consultant, and a lifestyle coach. He had been posting videos on YouTube for quite a few years, and then in 2020, one of his videos became viral with him, giving some consulting, because that's what a lot of it was. His platform, he would do a lot of consulting with women and men, although people don't tend to share that part. Women and men, that about how to create a better outcome in they're wanting to date and marry and things like that. So he was very outspoken on that. He hit the scene after a few of his videos went viral. He was heavily shared. After that, he rose. He gained 1 million followers. I believe just last year he was celebrating hitting 1 million followers. He also became popular in pop culture as he featured in a video with Future recently, and also he did a live with Nicki Minaj that went viral as well. He gave a lot of people advice on dating, career, and lifestyle. He was from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Uh, when he passed away, he was living in Georgia at the time. He also was married and divorced 2 times, and he leaves behind a child with his first wife. I'm not sure if it's a boy or a girl. He was very private about his private life. Not a lot was revealed about his private life, and you know that was a lot of the things that he spoke about. Sometimes it it would get clipped, right? So here's the thing about the internet: when people take clips and they try to use it as a representation of the entire conversation or your entire point, it can be misconstrued greatly. And I think a lot of his haters or his detractors um, seem to take offense with clips as opposed to, okay, I just see me. Personally, when I disagree with something, I like to go back and watch the whole thing so I can get context of exactly what the conversation was. A lot of people, they grab a clip and they run with it, and I would assure you that if you asked most of his, detractors, what did you hate so much about the man, or what couldn't you stand so much about the man? A lot of them will probably tell you, "Oh, it was a clip I saw where he said this or he said that," and it's not the same as somebody who sat there, listened to the whole conversation. And sure, certain things you say, oh, even in a clip, it would look crazy regardless of how you try to present it. But certain things, like I said, unless you grasp the whole conversation and you walking in on a piece of it, of course it's going to look a certain way to you because you only grabbing that piece as opposed to having the full understanding. Another thing that I would like to take the opportunity to speak about is just that a lot of people always want to harp on, oh, he talked down on black women, he disrespected black women, and that wasn't that's inaccurate. um we have plenty of examples of him giving advice to men just as strongly as he gave advice to women. But he was a very non sugar. He didn't add the sugar to it. Like he just was a very straight and direct person. And sometimes people got the message, and sometimes people got more distracted by the way it was delivered. See, me personally, growing up, I was kind of that type of person where I just told you what it was on my mind, how I felt. And one of the biggest jewels my mother gave me, and I understood more as I got older, was it's not about what you say, it's how you say it. And then there's another saying where people don't remember the things that you say, but they remember the way that you made them feel. So, because there are people who felt that he was only attacking women, that's all they'll remember, as opposed to going and seeking out the information and understanding exactly what it was. So I just want to share a couple of things with people to show that it wasn't just him going after women. He also spoke to men just as strongly. So let me pull this clip. And this is, I think this is a clip where he was as he is. So you'll be able to see, like, this is a great example of him dealing with men just as much as he did with the women. Hold on, let me make sure. All right, here we go. Let me run it back. Hold on.
I'm gonna leave this up about 24 hours because sometimes, guys, you just gotta get real. You gotta get ultimately real because some of you guys ain't hearing it. You can't cheat the game. You can't have 2 pennies in your pocket and expect to ball outrageous. I made that post talking about if you're single and no kids and not working at least 60 hours a week, you're lazy. Guess what? You're lazy.
This is men he's addressing, right? So He's saying if you 60, if you working less than 60 hours with no kids, you lazy. Like these are the type of things that women will find fault with and say this. He only spoke to women like this.
I don't want to hear any. I don't want to hear any this bullshit about quality of life and life is to be lived. Yeah, to be lived for average. You can live that average C life, that D life, but stop trying to act. But stop thinking you should have 8, 9s, and 10s and be eating steak and lobster and riding good, flying good, and living good. You don't want to put the work in, then don't expect the outcome. See, this is going to be a little too real for a lot of people because it's like you want to hear feel-good stuff all the time. But I would be remiss if I would not be a quality teacher if I just let you feel good all the time. See,
all right. So that's an example right there of him speaking to men, addressing men just as harshly, excuse me, as he's been accused of the way he would address women. And that's the reality of it. There are a lot of men who are who are in that boat where they don't work hard, they don't set themselves up for future success, and then they complain when they get to a place where they at in life and they don't achieve. Right? So that's one of the examples of him being like, speaking on it. Now I'm going to show you another example of him on the Joe Budden podcast, where he's delivering the same messages to males. I just want to keep sharing those parts because I just want to kill this myth about he was just attacking black women, because it couldn't be further from the truth.
Most take half up. If you're not working 60 hours minimum a week that you're getting paid for, turn off YouTube, Instagram, whatever. Get your ass up there. Go down there and work at McDonald's, Circle K, get you a job. I don't care about your pride. You can't be proud and broke at the same time. Go work, and work. And then you take that money you make from your part-time job, invest some of it, take half of it, invest it to your future. The other 50%, the other percentage, take some, have some fun, go buy your belt, then invest in self-improvement. Get you a high-income skill. Get you something that's going to give you high-value skills that you can market up, that you can leverage on the marketplace. Whether you're working in corporate America or whether you're going to be doing your own entrepreneurial thing in the future. But men, if you're working, the harder you work, the luckier you get, the more exposure you get.
Again, same message, right? Men, work hard so that way you can have better things, better life, better outcome, right? So this is why I say, like, it's such a false narrative that's being led that I just felt so compelled. Like I have to make this tribute, because the man did a lot of work. And there's a lot of people who will come and say, you know what? I appreciate the mark that he left. I respect the things that he did and the way that he said it, because it was the uncut truth. But then there's going to be those who are his detractors, who really are the distractors, because they're distracting away from the message. And the message was clear. We have to be realistic about where we are, our stations in life, how we got there, and what we can expect moving forward. But a lot of people didn't want to accept that. So now, let me give you again another example of him speaking to men just as strongly and just as harshly as he spoke to women. Because what we're doing here today, we're going to kill that narrative.
A lot of nerve thinking, huh? You have a big dick?
I mean, it's above average. I ain't know Ron Jones.
No. I asked you if you had a big dick. I didn't say it was above average.
I don't know what that is. Really.
Nigga, you know if you got a big dick or not. Stop the bullshit. If you know whether or not you got a big dick. I know I got a big dick. You don't know?
I mean,
You don't have a big dick. That's the point. You don't have a big dick. You don't have a big wallet. You're a fat dude. And you got a lot of nerve thinking you should get choosy sitting at 5'10" at 300 pounds, making less than $1,000 a month at 20 years old. And women should approach you. What they get, they don't even get a big dick.
Now, that to me is as harsh as he's spoken to any woman. That was the equivalent of that, right? Any example you pull up from any woman, I could match that with that clip right there, because that's him being just as hard as men on men. And the crazy thing is, he explained, if you go back and look at his No Jumper interview, his Joe Budden interview, any of his interviews, Fresh and Fit, he explained that when he originally started out, he was giving advice to men. But it wasn't until he started giving advice to the women that his content started to go viral and fly off the shelves the way that it did. So, on behalf of my platform, the Blake Check, I just wanted to use it to just, address those things and put those things in the proper perspective. And I just wanted to say, Kevin, you had a mission, and you know what? You left here before the haters could see your downfall or even try to contribute to it. So I just want to share that. Kevin as well was a cancer survivor. And I think that's important to highlight as well, that this man lived a very full and meaningful life. And he did a great job of putting that in perspective in this clip here.
I'm very much driven on, I want to leave behind something, a legacy. And if somebody can say, you know what, I'm better off for listening to that video or knowing this or knowing that, I think it's a life well. When I was 21 years old, I was diagnosed with stage 3 Hodgkin's lymphoma. And while everybody else was about to graduate from college to go off and to live life, I'm looking at my own mortality. So I've always, even though this has one of the highest cure rates, I've always known that we're all on borrowed time. We're all on borrowed time. So I'm like, through hook or crook, I want to be the best at what I do to try to get the most out of this life that we have, because it's not promised to us. So it's not to make it rich or whatever. It's really because I want to have a life that was being worth lived.
And that right there is exactly the legacy that will be in my heart of Kevin Samuels. He spoke to men and women about what they need to be realistic about in order to have the most meaningful life that they can live, as well as to be the most realistic with the outcomes that they can expect to have. So, Kevin, on behalf of me and hundreds of thousands of other men out there who ain't able to probably say it to you right now, we thank you. We appreciate you. And salute to you, bro. This is going to be my last share before I'm out of here. This is Food for Thought. Y'all do the dishes. Thank you for tuning in to the Blake Check. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Salute.